ROCTAC is a group of community leaders who have familiarity with targeted violence prevention programs, who come together to assist our county in preventing acts of targeted violence within our community. Over the last decade or so, we saw a significant increase in the frequency of these attacks and sadly in the deadliness of these attacks, and people were looking for answers. Though a lot of times we hear reported that this individual snapped, it truly wasn't a snap. There's a process the perpetrator goes through before they commit their act of violence. There's a series of steps and stages and behaviors that are actually observable. And if you get it to a management team like ours, they're preventable then.
Our marriage was not very good. It was always rocky, abusive, not so much physical, but very mental, emotionally. And I finally ended up leaving after I was threatened. I got a restraining order. The first night of his visitation, he had called me and was making some threats and said I would never see him again. So I quickly drove over there, called the police on the way there. I beat them there, but I didn't get out of the car yet. When they got there, I got out. They looked around. Finally, somebody yelled something, and they went in the house, and that's when they found him. But never in a million years did I think that would happen. To myself, possibly, but not to his son.
I could see the kid's house from my office, literally out my window. Was Hunter's house, and Hunter was a beautiful young kid. His family was going through a lot of turmoil, going through divorce, going through some mental health issues. Some things were occurring at the school district with Hunter that, he was making comments to teachers and all these people. Family court, our police department, everybody did their job well. Everybody did their job to standard. Everybody did their job to policy. But what our investigation again found after the horrific incident was that Mr. Rescue wrote a suicide note days earlier and through a week-long process fulfilled everything in that suicide note. Not only was the indicators weeks and months ahead of time, but there was also those indicators that week. And he wrote it on Monday and fulfilled everything to the standard of that suicide note days later, including how he had murdered that beautiful young man. So I looked at that and I said, there's no way you can accept this as the norm, right? Even though we as a Greece Police Department did our job and did it right, this cannot be the norm. We got to be proactive. We got to lean forward in these things. We got to find ways to break down silos and egos and get people to talk from different disciplines and see if we can intervene in someone's life. ROCTAC, the ability to get people from different disciplines in a room when a potential targeted violence case in our community is raised to the level of the surface of some entity, and now they have something to do with it, right? And we've always heard the term see something, say something, right? Now it's see something, say something, do something. We have something that can do with that. We have ROCTAC.
When this was first talked about a few years ago, the concept of a community-wide threat assessment committee or association was wildly new. There was maybe one in the country. We were definitely one of the first ones in the country and the first one in New York State.
We got 28 organizations that get together twice a month, and whatever agency presents that problem that's bubbling to the surface in their community that scares the hell out of them, that they see someone spiraling out of control. Now the do something is 28 agencies sit around and say, we understand what your experiences are. Here's some possible solutions. Have you thought about this? I know a guy down the street that does that. Every meeting we leave is just incredibly rich. I'm not joking. I've been a cop for 35 years. I leave these meetings going, what do we do before these meetings?
It's absolutely amazing that my little guy who, just average kid, is creating such a big impact on the community.